about Mengqi? Is it Mengqi? That's how you pronounce her name.
It's actually Mengqi. And it has tone to it. It's Mengqi.
Mengqi. Okay, all right. So, what do you think about the fact that she left behind her passport and her phone?
So that stuff is very weird to me. I know she was talking to somebody else. Yeah, I really miss her and I need her back, so.
This is 23-year-old Joseph Elledge. He's on the local news, pleading for information about his missing wife.
Everything is very, very cloudy. I just don't know what's going on. I don't know what to think. I'm really confused, and I just think that she is too, and I don't know. I think she'll come back.
Days earlier, the local police responded to his report that his wife had disappeared.
Hey, Joe.
Hi.
Hey, it's Officer Joseph.
Officer Joseph.
I was just going to come over here and get details from him.
Yep. So here's her phone. I mean, her phone and her wedding ring were both just left on that table.
He last saw her 2 nights earlier. The next morning, he was awoken up at 5 a.m. by the sound of his infant daughter crying, and his wife, 28-year-old Mengqi Ji, was nowhere to be found. Like any couple, they've had their share of marital problems.
She's been acting weird recently, and she wouldn't tell me where she's been.
The stress of raising a child, all the financial pressures, and sleepless nights can get to anyone. But for Joseph and Mengqi, something is different.
Today marks 1 year since missing Colombia woman Mengqi Ji was last seen alive.
Mengqi never came home.
I know she was talking to somebody else on the side, and I didn't know that until after she had left, but you know, whatever she's doing, I just hope she's safe, and I really hope that she can, you know, find herself and come back to me and Anna, and we can just have a big long talk, and that's all we need.
Who is she talking to? Did she run off with them, leaving her 1-year-old daughter behind? Or is there a darker reason for her disappearance?
Yeah, you want me to abandon her, just leave, I know.
That's what you seem to want to do. That's what I see in my eyes.
I will never abandon her.
Secret recordings, an investigation that spans over a year, and muddy hiking boots that could be the key to it all.
Have faith that eventually the truth is going to come out.
The following report is drawn from official police records and exclusive footage. This is the Mengqi Ji investigation. We're in the quiet college town of Columbia, Missouri. It's October 10th, 2019, when Joseph Elledge calls 311, a civilian hotline.
Joint dispatch, how may I help you? Hello?
I need to file a missing persons report.
Okay, I can help you with that.
He last saw his wife nearly 2 days earlier, on the night of October 8th, and she's never done anything like this before.
What are your thoughts? I mean, do you think she are you guys having issues with your marriage or no? Or, I mean, what's your opinion? You guys, you know her better than me.
Okay, so during our whole marriage, we argued probably just about every single day. And really we kind of argued about the same stuff over and over, just she would like never really listen to me. But if you fast forward until the past couple months, probably starting around the beginning of this summer, is when she really began ignoring me a lot.
In the last few months, things have changed between the couple. The pressures of raising a baby, or something worse.
Do you think she's actually in danger, missing, or do you think she's just avoiding you?
Well, I really think that she left on her own accord.
So you guys think she might try to go back to China?
Yeah, because she told me 3 weeks ago, she's willing to back to China.
Mengqi's family all still live in China, where she's from. She's been missing their support more and more over the last few months. Is that where she could have gone?
Hey, Joe.
Hi.
Hey, it's Officer Joseph.
Officer Joseph?
I was just going to come over here and get
That's
some
fine.
details from him.
That night, the police come to the home of Joseph and Mengqi. Some of their friends are there to help in the search.
They've been helping me look through her computer because everything is in Chinese.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they were looking for they were looking through her browser history to see if she made any flight
arrangements.
Yeah.
A cursory examination of Mengqi's abandoned devices reveals nothing of her whereabouts, but there is something else.
There is. I actually found this earlier. There's this it's like a journal type of document, and it talks about her having some secret love. She mentioned this guy's name, and actually it turns out it's this guy right here. And I just messaged him earlier, and he responded to me. But I think he's in China right now. Anyway, that journal article talks about this guy. She's like in love with him or something, and that she's not interested in her husband. But that she's married and she has a baby, and so she has to stop doing this.
Messaging him.
They weren't just drifting away from each other. According to this journal Joseph's found, Mengqi was in love with another man.
So the previous night, she told me that she had to get up early for something. She didn't tell me what it was. I actually asked her who are you meeting, and she kept saying me. That was her answer.
Could she have been meeting this other man she'd been seeing? Or if he was in China, could she have been getting on a plane to leave her family behind, starting a new life?
Where's her car at? Is it out in the parking lot?
Yeah.
And the keys to it, or?
Yeah, keys are here. They're in the kitchen.
And that's usually where she leaves them?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, was the door locked or was it unlocked when you woke up?
Yeah, it was unlocked.
She didn't take her phone or her car, like maybe she didn't want to be followed. And Joseph seems to have seen this coming.
Yeah, basically anytime anything came up about just the area, basically anything that she would.
Anything she could find and complain about, she would say about her.
Yeah, basically, yeah. She would just say, "Oh, if we were in China, this would be so much better. China's so much better than this."
Mengqi came to the U.S. in 2012 to study at the University of Missouri. She graduated in 2014 with a master's degree in mechanical and aerospace engineering. She was hired right out of college by Nanova Biomaterials, a company that manufactured medical products. She was following her dreams and making the most of her achievements in the U.S. And this is where she met Joseph Elledge. He started working there in 2015. She was his supervisor, 5 years older than him, but they soon found they had more than their work in common. A year and 7 months later, in 2017, he proposed in a park called the Devil's Icebox. She might have been head over heels for him, but this was a practical arrangement as well. Her visa was about to expire. If she wanted to stay in the U.S., where she'd found so much success, she needed a green card. Joseph was happy to help. They got married, and she was looking to the future and a lucrative new job offer. Then, she got pregnant.
She hasn't worked since the baby.
No, she hasn't worked since baby.
Previously a career-driven woman, Mengqi and Joseph make the decision that it was best for her to become a stay-at-home mom. Meanwhile, he's left his job and is still finishing his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. What was a fairy tale relationship has become very real very quickly, with finances low and stress mounting. Maybe she couldn't take it anymore. The first couple of days after a disappearance are crucial, but those days pass without any sign of Mengqi. The Columbia Police Department put out an appeal for information, but they get no real leads. Their only source of information is Joseph. On October 15th, 6 days after Mengqi's disappearance, they formally interview him.
I know you talked to the patrol officer and stuff, but sometimes stuff gets lost in translation, and since we're the ones actually working the case, right, we want to get everything straight from you, okay?
Joseph tells the investigator that he and Mengqi have been having small arguments, but nothing that would cause their marriage to implode.
She was complaining a little bit about, me not doing anything for Anna outside of just playing with her and changing diapers. But I just told her I was really stuck. I don't really know where any of that information is, and so that was kind of like a little argument, but I wouldn't call it a fight.
But you guys were seeing a counselor, correct?
Yep, for a while, yeah.
What was that about?
That was about our marriage.
On Monday, October 7th, they argued about whose responsibility it was to renew their daughter's Medicaid.
We were still just a little bit distant from each other after that.
The next day, Joseph had class, and he left early.
And said goodbye to Mengqi. I don't know, I just thought that's just something that I remembered, but I had to catch the bus, so I was actually kind of hurrying, and I just remembered that.
He came back at about 5:45, and together they fed their daughter and put her to bed.
Thought about just how distant we've been, so I just wanted to put down the phone and go do something for her. She's been really refusing me to have sex. I've been trying to initiate sex, and she's been completely refusing me.
It's not only the emotional intimacy they've been lacking, but physical intimacy as well. Joseph says that on that final night, he tried to change that.
So I did that for a while on the massage. But then eventually I just kind of got tired of massaging her. It was a pretty long massage, but I was doing it kind of slow. I was trying to drag it out because I wanted to extend the amount of time that we were together doing something. So I did a kind of slow, long massage, but eventually I just stopped. I felt like I'd kind of massaged everywhere on her back, and so I stopped. And she just said, I told her I'm done, and she just said, okay. And she kind of told me, I don't know, during that time she had told me that she has to get up early in the morning to go somewhere, and I asked her where she's going, who she's meeting, and I asked her about 3 times who is she meeting, and her answer was just, quote, me.
The massage didn't turn into anything more, and instead devolved. She was being secretive about her plans on the next day, and they went to bed angry.
And she told me that she wanted to go to bed, and she rolled over away from me, facing away from me, and she asked me to turn the lights off, and so I did. This was around 9:30, between 9:30 and 10. It was a little bit earlier than what she normally goes to sleep, and so I thought that she was telling the truth. I thought, I figured that she really did have to go get up early. So I just let her sleep, and then I went out to the living room, and I just watched a few more YouTube videos, and just kind of scrolled through YouTube and didn't do a whole lot. Eventually I went to sleep at about 11:30.
At 5 a.m., he was awoken by his daughter crying.
I normally put my hand over to where Mengqi is. I kind of normally tell her, like, hey, I'm gonna get Anna, you just lay in bed or something, but I put my hand over there and she wasn't there.
He had no explanation for her absence, and he thought no reason to panic. He went back to sleep. When he woke up around 8 a.m., there was still no sign of Mengqi.
I just decided to stay home with Anna because she needs somebody home, of course.
He took his daughter on a drive to Jefferson City using Mengqi's car. Then, later in the day, he set out with her again.
And we really like taking Anna on walks, and so I wanted to go check that area out. I got in my car, got out back on 63 South again.
By his account, Joseph spent a peaceful day with his child, all the while maintaining the hope that Mengqi would just turn up at home. But she didn't. The next morning, October 10th, there was still no sign.
Somebody knocked on the door, and I was actually right there by the door carrying Anna from the kitchen to the living room. And so I just opened the door. Well, I peeked outside. I couldn't really tell who it was. He was actually standing on just on the first step. And so it was kind of hard to see who it was, but I just opened the door, and it was home. And he told me that Mengqi's mom contacted Holmes' dad to have Home come over and check on Mengqi.
Mengqi usually called her mom back in China every single day. When she didn't pick up the phone, her mom sent a friend living nearby to check on her. And Joseph could ignore the situation no longer.
I think it was on Thursday night when I finally contacted the police and reported her missing.
Things rapidly spiraled out of his control. Looking through her things, he found her online journal.
I had to keep going back and translating it, but I just copied and pasted into Google Translate, and that's when I read about that it talked about some secret love. It talked about that she had, it said, this guy I've known for 3 weeks, It's the first long-term secret love.
He says he'd had no idea she might be cheating on him, but she did have a history of elusive behavior.
And then one other time is when she went out to run some errands. She went out to drop off our utility bill, drop off our rent, and I think she was going to go shop for some clothes for Anna, something like that. She was going to go shopping just a little bit, but again, she was out for probably, I don't know, between 2 to 4 hours, and she came back later, and I was just really shocked. I was asking her what took you so long. I thought you were just going to go out for something really quick, and she kind of just told me, no, it took a long time. And actually, I remember specifically that time, after she came inside, she had sat on the couch, and she was all red-faced. Her cheeks were all very, very red, especially after I was really asking her a lot where she had gone and what she was doing a lot.
Where do you think she is?
I don't know.
Joseph's strategy throughout his marriage seems to have been avoidance, and now is no exception.
What's really going on here, Joe?
I wish I could tell you. She's been acting a little weird recently.
You used a strange phrase with me just there. You said, I wish that I could tell you. You know, if you were to ask me that question, I would say, I don't know. You say, I wish I could tell you. To me, that tells me that you are not telling us everything that you know. Okay?
Joseph is Mengqi's husband, and the last person who saw her. If something's happened to her, he has to be the cops' first port of call. His behavior in the interview, his long drives on October 9th using Mengqi's own car, each of these are red flags.
Did you leave her a note? You didn't leave her a note. I said, hey, don't worry about Anna and me because we're out for a drive. Didn't do that, right?
I didn't.
Why not?
I didn't think about it.
When he realized his wife was truly missing, he didn't call 911, but 311, the non-emergency civilian hotline.
I'm trying not to, hurt myself too much over this, trying not to think about what could be happening. So I'm just trying to graduate. I graduate this semester, and I don't want to screw that up now.
Joe, I'm hearing you talk an awful lot about Joe and what this has meant for Joe. I'm not really here for Joe. I'm actually here for her, to find her.
There's no sign of a struggle in their house. No blood and no body. Mengqi could be anywhere. But there's also no evidence that she took a flight to China. There's been no activity on her financial accounts since October 8th. She'd also made arrangements to pick up some baby food from a friend on October 9th, and she never showed up. This is proof that she was looking into the future, a future that had her baby daughter in it. She wouldn't just leave her child behind. That same day, Joseph gives an interview to KRCG.
All right, so talk to me about who she is, why you fell in love with her.
Well, she's a very dedicated person. She's a hard worker, and I really like that. That's important to me. And she's really, she's very, very detail-oriented. And that's something that I honestly didn't see a lot in a lot of people and really a lot of girls as well. But she was, she's a mechanical engineer with me, same as I am. And that was something that was pretty important to me too, because I really kind of always thought that I'd have sort of my own business and maybe have a car shop or something. And I thought that she would be helpful in that. I thought that she would be a part of that. And I told her that whenever we first started dating. And I think that she kind of liked the idea of it. She really likes the idea of working hard and making money.
In the early days of their relationship, he says he saw Mengqi as a possible equal partner. But by October 2019, she was a housewife. And according to her journals, she was looking for an escape. But she wasn't the only one. As part of his interview, Joseph turns his phone over to the police. Stored on it, they make a discovery that turns the whole case on its head. He kept 10 hours of secretly recorded conversations between him and his wife. And far from minor disagreements, they tell a story of a relationship that was falling apart.
I've told you many times before that what you do and say, it hurts me. I've only just recently started using the term abuse. But it has been abuse in the past. I just didn't think of that term. But still, you don't...
If every conversation, serious talk to you is abusive, then we have nothing to talk about. Life should just be marshmallow and cotton candies. Sweet and unreal. Just fantasy. Am I abusing you now? Yes, I am. I'm always abusing you. That's a pleasure of me. That's what makes me happy. Look at how happy I am. So happy. Burst into tears.
Joseph accuses Mengqi of mistreating him, and Mengqi's unhappiness is plain.
I gave up my whole world. Gave up a lot of jobs. Sacrificed so much. Spent so much time and money. Been living so frugal. No desire. No wants. No happiness. In exchange of this.
She had an excellent education and a promising career ahead of her. Her relationship with Joseph changed all of that. And it wasn't just that she felt stifled. She felt controlled and isolated too. She kept over 4 hours of her own recordings, telling the other side of the story. These include secretly recorded couples counseling sessions that did not seem to help. That kind of counseling is only successful if both parties are interested in working it out. Joseph claims to be, but the recordings tell a different story. Mengqi has been doing some freelance translation work to occupy her time and keep some spare cash in her pocket. But Joseph didn't like that.
I see that you're stressed. And I'm asking you, and I'm telling you, Mengqi, I can tell that this job is giving you stress, and it's negatively affecting your health and your actions and your ability to take care of Anna. And I'm asking you, are you okay?
When their daughter was first born, Mengqi invited her mom to stay with them for the first 100 days, according to Chinese custom. But Joseph and her mom did not get along.
You remember when your mom was there and you said stop looking at her like she's a criminal. Well, you know what? She's a criminal. And I'm not chill around her. I am watching her like a hawk. Like she's a snake that's about to take my eggs.
Mengqi's mom was her vital support network. Like any abuser, Joseph sought to cut her off.
You just get offended. You just find some way to just get mad at me.
Most of the time, it seems Joseph was starting the arguments and then getting upset with Mengqi for reacting to them.
I stabbed you by calling you a
No, you stabbed me by making fun of me. I would think it's best you go back to China. It's obvious, you Chinese not good here. You're not good with the best American. The best American. You get that? So why don't you just leave?
On August 20th, 2019, just 7 weeks before Mengqi's disappearance, things reached a breaking point.
You've abused me a lot, and I think I would bring that up in court.
I'm not gonna hear this.
Okay, we can talk about it in court. So here's a statement that I really want, that I'm very earnest about. I want to divorce you.
Joseph had mentioned none of this to the police. It's like he was pushing for Mengqi to be out of his life. And in the end, he got what he wanted.
Should I mention in court that you're abusive to me? Should I ask them to deport you?
It works very well in thousands of families. It's just you.
Thousands of worthless piece of families. That's what I'm talking
Keep
about.
insulting people. That's what you're good at.
You find all those stories about men and or women beat the shit out of their spouse, killed them, whatever. That's the thousands of families you're talking about.
Joseph is no longer just talking about divorce here. He's talking about murder.
You know how I conquer nature? I kill it. I'd grab his head and break his f***ing neck. That's how you conquer f***ing nature. You think you're so empowered because of this society. Well, don't forget that nature exists. You're still just a woman. And there's nature in that. There's nature in your brain.
Mengqi has managed to capture Joseph's true personality. Not the earnest, polite young man we saw with the investigators, but a man who's vicious and misogynistic. He's also a man with a motive.
So we can get through the divorce quick and easy and cheap, so it doesn't ruin our lives. Is that considerate? Personally, I don't want to spend $20,000, $30,000 on a divorce. Do you want to do that?
He wanted out of his marriage, but he didn't want to have to pay for it. This is backed up by his search history. He looked up local divorce lawyers and filing fee for divorce.
I don't think you could see the bottom part. Is it basically just that day, August 31st, 2019?
Correct.
And what are the descriptions? The description column, what is that?
Filing fee for divorce.
Filing fee for divorce is how you said?
Correct.
He's just a student on a student's income. Murder, if he got away with it, would be a profitable solution. But the cops are onto him. Armed with these recordings, they get a search warrant, and on October 25th, they arrest Joseph Elledge. But not for Mengqi's murder. They hold him on a charge of child abuse. Their evidence? Something Mengqi had sent her mother on February 18th, nearly 8 months before her disappearance.
Showed us an image on her phone of what appeared to be an infant child with a bruise on its buttocks.
How would you characterize that bruise that you saw?
Considering the size of the child, it was a pretty severe bruise.
When the police confronted Joseph with the evidence of his child's injury, he didn't deny it.
He stated that he knew which incident we were speaking of and that he had caused the bruise, that the incident had occurred, he said, approximately 7 months ago when when Anna was approximately 3 to 5 months old, that it had occurred when Mengqi had been gone from the residence and he was watching Anna, and that she was crying, that he was stressed out, and that he could not get her to stop crying. He said that he believed it occurred when he was holding Anna too hard, and that he had been pinching Anna to try and make her stop crying.
He's held on a $500,000 bond. This gives the investigators the opportunity to collect the evidence they need to understand what happened to Mengqi, and what they find is chilling.
And then starting on the first line, it says Tuesday/October 8, and says 7:30 a.m. drive to campus. Then says 9:15 a.m. drive home.
This is a written account of everything he told the police in his interview, almost word for word.
After watching 1.5 videos, I put down the phone, think about how distant Mengqi has been, then go to the room. I laid to her left. She was on her belly. I put my arm and leg over her. I asked her who she is talking to. She says her mom. She doesn't say anything else, neither do I.
I was watching a couple of YouTube videos. I've just been doing that a lot recently, and then she went into the bedroom and she was just laying on the bed.
It runs through all his movements from October 8th to October 10th, hour by hour.
6 o'clock, don't speculate, nothing wrong with dead silence. 6:40, don't speculate how others are feeling, concentrate on how I feel. 6:45, I wish I could go interrogate people. And then an arrow, it says add, another arrow, because I'm worried sick. Then says there is only one emotion the public will relate to, sorrow, sadness. 7:45 has nothing to do with bringing Mengqi home.
This isn't just a diary. This is a calculated strategy, how to endear himself to the public and how to ingratiate himself with the cops.
Don't confuse past plus present, and then an arrow. She is a great mother, and the is capitalized and underlined.
Why would he have to remind himself to refer to Mengqi in the present tense if he thought she was still alive? On October 30th, Joseph's mother files for custody of his daughter. But with all the new revelations, Mengqi's parents don't trust that side of the family anymore. On November 3rd, an attorney representing them releases a statement saying, they continue to be concerned about Joseph's mom's knowledge regarding Mengqi, and that she has not been fully forthcoming with information she has related to Mengqi's disappearance. They fight for custody of the child themselves. Joseph's mom's role in all of this remains unclear. The police do not charge her with anything, and she's allowed to keep partial custody. Meanwhile, the investigators have a case against Joseph, but no body. But in February 2020, just as the COVID-19 pandemic is brewing, they take a drastic step. They file charges against him anyway for murder in the first degree. With Joseph in jail, the investigators start tracing his movements on the long drives he took on October 9th. He told them he drove all around Columbia, Kingdom City, and Jefferson City. One place he didn't mention was the Lemayan River, where he spent 30 minutes unaccounted for. In December, the cops conducted a major search with a dive team. They built a levee to better search the area, where cadaver dogs had picked up a scent. Mengqi had been missing for 2 months.
It's a pretty wide area around this column, this support column. Right now, since we've hit the river bottom, divers are going to go in the water for further exploration. We're going to move the boom truck to the other side and start dislodging all the other debris on the other side. So,
how deep is the water there approximately?
It was 16 feet. I don't know what it is today. We're pretty confident that we're looking in the right area.
But they don't find her here, and time begins to tick on. The state tries to build its case against Joseph without Mengqi's body, but without it, most of the evidence is circumstantial, and her family begin to lose hope that she'll ever be found. March 2021. The world has been rocked by the pandemic, but the Columbia Police Department haven't forgotten about Mengqi.
Investigators believe skeletal remains found in a state park are those of a missing Columbia woman.
A hiker at Devil's Icebox, the same park where Joseph proposed to Mengqi back in 2017, notices a purse lying in the dirt. He clears some of the earth away, and slowly, something awful begins to reveal itself. It's Mengqi's skeleton. But that's not all. When investigators comb through all of the evidence, they find something chilling. Joseph's cell phone records place him in the vicinity of Mengqi's burial site. When they searched Joseph's home a year and a half earlier, they found a muddy pair of hiking boots. They took the boots into evidence in case they proved a vital clue. And now, the moment has come. They test juniper tree needles found in the treads of the boots against the DNA of the trees around where Mengqi was found. It's a match. This is real evidence tying Joseph to the scene of the crime, and the last piece of the puzzle in taking him to trial. The medical examiner can't identify her cause of death, but 4 of her ribs are broken, and the prosecution has a theory as to why.
Mengqi found out that Anna's Medicaid had expired. Mengqi was concerned about this because later on in the week, on the Friday, October 11th, there was a doctor's appointment. And if that Medicaid didn't get renewed, there was going to be a big problem with that doctor's appointment for Anna. And Mengqi was very concerned about this. The defendant's frustration with Mengqi was at an all-time high. He would later say to the police that he went into the bedroom where he said Mengqi was on the bed. He would later tell the police that he found out that Mengqi was talking to her mother on the telephone. He would act like that was no big deal. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence will be that the defendant had strictly prohibited her from talking to her mother.
Joseph had kicked Mengqi's mother out of the house and had spent the marriage trying to drive a wedge between them. Finding Mengqi on the phone with her would have made him see red.
The last interaction, ladies and gentlemen, that the defendant said he ever had with Mengqi during the entire time that she was alive involved a massage. The defendant said that Mengqi was on her stomach on this bed. He said he climbed, those are his words, on her back to give her a massage. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence is going to be that Mengqi was tiny. As a matter of fact, the defendant was almost 2 times larger than Mengqi and much stronger. The defendant would later use strange words to describe how he massaged Mengqi. He said that while he was massaging her back, she's face down on the bed, he said that he was using, these are his words, pressing maneuvers on her back. Ladies and gentlemen, when her body was found down at Rockbridge, it was discovered that she had 4 broken ribs. All 4 broken ribs were together, 4, 5, and 6, and number 4 on this side. All these broken ribs were broken all the way through, and they were broken in the exact same place that the defendant said he was performing pressing maneuvers on her back.
The prosecution puts forward the theory that Joseph seriously hurt his wife while giving her a massage that night, a massage that was really an excuse for him to act out his rage. He applied massive pressure to her back and broke 4 of her ribs in the process. Was this what killed her? Possibly if it damaged her internal organs. Or maybe when he realized how badly he'd hurt her, he decided to finish the job. When Joseph's attorney sets out his defense, the trial takes an interesting twist. He asserts that Joseph did kill Mengqi, but he did it accidentally. Joseph takes the stand to tell this story.
You would have these arguments, you both felt you were misunderstood, and there would be a reconciliation and you would love each other.
That's right.
Is that a consistent theme for the most part throughout the course of your marriage?
Yes.
Was that your perception, or did Mengqi have a temper?
She had a temper.
You knew that before you married her, right?
Yes.
How would she evidence her temper?
She would raise her voice, yell, she would talk a lot, and she wouldn't listen to me very well.
Joseph is sticking to the line that he held in the secret recordings, that it was Mengqi, not himself, who was the aggressor in their relationship. This is the key to his defense. He tries to explain his reaction to her parents.
I told her that I was starting to become uncomfortable and that I was having a hard time bonding with Anna and spending time with Mengqi and learning how to be a family as husband, wife, and child. And she just continuously told me that it was important to her that her parents were there and that she put her parents first before Anna and me.
How'd that make you feel?
Very hurt and isolated.
That appears to be Chinese culture, right? Is that what she told you?
Yes.
That was foreign to you, right?
Yes.
So would it be fair to say that during this period of time there was some growing frustration on your part?
Absolutely.
Everything he says seems calculated to make him come across as a reasonable man in a difficult marriage.
What are you trying to accomplish by these recordings?
Basically to understand each other. I thought that it would be good to go over the recordings again so that we could talk about, kind of what went wrong and hopefully stop it from happening again.
But their attempts to understand each other failed. Now Joseph tells the court he knew about Mengqi's affair with the man in China. He says that on the night of October 8th, he confronted her about it. After an argument, he wanted to take his daughter for a walk to clear his head. But Mengqi, he says, got in the way.
She was just stopping me from getting up, basically.
Well, stopping you? How? How did she do that?
She pushed me, and then she pushed me again, and then I pushed back this time.
Okay, and so you push back, and so where's this occurring?
In the same area.
No, what's the same area? We need to know this. This is really important, Joe. What do you mean the same area?
Where I had been getting my shoes on.
Okay. Well, I thought that you'd already walked to the door, toward Anna's bedroom.
No, I got up after putting my shoes on, and I was starting towards that direction.
The prosecutor puts pressure on Joseph's testimony, but he continues to insist on his versions of events. When Mengqi started pushing him, he pushed back.
You were paying attention to what was going on when you pushed her?
Yeah, she fell back. She fell into that.
Where did she hit? Let's see it. Show us.
I don't know exactly where she hit on that.
Are you saying that she fell back on her back? Is that what happened?
No, she stumbled backwards and kind of ran into that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you really didn't push her that hard. It was kind of getting away from her, but she fell back hard. Is that what you're saying?
I pushed her pretty hard.
He says he pushed her back into the kitchen island, hard enough to break her ribs. She got up again, came at him, and again he pushed her away, but this time he pushed too hard.
She fell into the kitchen.
She fell into the kitchen. Okay, where? What happened?
On the floor.
She fell on the floor. So you're saying that she just fell and just went straight back on her head?
Head injuries can be deadly, as Joseph no doubt knows. When Mengqi got back up, he says she was dazed, but he went out for a walk anyway. When he returned, she'd gone to bed.
Now you're getting back to, then, the same rendition, pretty much, as far as you told back in 2019 that you woke up, right? But instead of her being gone, she's just dead and she's right there in bed with you, correct?
That is correct.
Joseph's response to apparently waking up next to his wife's dead body was not to call 911, but instead to put her body in his car and bury her in the park where he'd asked her to marry him. He says he didn't call the cops because he was afraid, even though he hadn't meant to kill her.
You could have easily called 911, correct?
I could have.
What?
I could have, yes.
There's no reason at all into the scenario that he just gave us in this courtroom to believe that you killed Mengqi.
He didn't know for sure that Mengqi had hit her head when he pushed her, but he responded like a guilty man. The prosecution proposes to call a spade a spade. He acted guilty because he was guilty. He killed her deliberately. The prosecutor brings him back to the moment of the massage.
So you got Mengqi, who's 5 feet, 100 pounds. Here's Joe, 6 feet, 180 pounds, correct? On top of her, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, you straddled on top of her with her face down on this bed, correct?
Something like that.
If you would have commenced and attacked Joe, she would have been in an extremely vulnerable position, correct?
I don't know.
Did you hit her with a toolbox real hard, just come down straight on that back?
No.
Did you maybe stand up on top of her and jump on top of her back?
No.
Did you suffocate her?
No.
Did you strangle her, causing her to urinate on the bed?
No.
You admitted there was urine on that bed, correct?
Yes.
The prosecutor tries to get Joseph to admit it on the stand. He doesn't, but his excuses are weak. Take, for instance, his claims about the script he wrote for his police interview.
Yes, I wrote, there's only one emotion the public will relate to is sorrow/sadness.
And you also warned yourself, isn't it correct, to not talk in the past tense, right, Joe?
That was advice that was given to me.
Whether he received advice or not, it's a cold and callous way of trying to cover up a supposedly accidental death.
I don't know. I think she'll come back, but I just don't know.
If nothing else, Joseph Elledge has shown himself to be a talented liar. When he recorded his interview, Mengqi was already buried in a shallow grave in the woods. The defense asked the jury to return a verdict of manslaughter. The prosecution seeks first-degree murder. On November 11, 2021, after 7 hours of deliberation, The jury comes back with a decision.
Members of the jury, were you able to reach a verdict? Okay, please hand that to the marshal there. Okay. Mr. Elledge, would you please stand to receive the verdict? Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant, Joseph Dwayne Elledge, guilty of murder in the second degree.
They convict him of second-degree murder, not first, meaning that they don't believe the murder was premeditated. He is sentenced to 28 years in prison, 1 year for every year of Mengqi's life. He's also sentenced to 10 years on the count of child abuse, to run consecutive with his murder sentence. This adds up to 38 years behind bars. Today, he remains in Southeast Correctional Center in Charleston, Missouri, with his motion for a new trial denied. His and Mengqi's daughter, meanwhile, is being raised by Joseph's mother, but spending her summers in China with Mengqi's parents. She's staying in touch with her culture, just as Mengqi would have wanted. The leading cause of death for pregnant women in the United States is domestic violence homicide. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, the U.S. National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7, 365. 1-800-799-SAFE 7233 or thehotline.org. What do you think about this tragic story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe, keep up with our channel, and we will see you very soon on the Decoder.